Alison. I'm the Programs Outreach and Youth Services Manager here at Monterey County Free Libraries. Thank you for joining me this evening for another episode of Book Chat. Tonight I'm going to be chatting with you about a book that I finished recently that I loved. I couldn't put it down. And that is The Family Game by Catherine Steadman. This was a mystery thriller and I just ate it up. I finished it in a couple of days. It really reminded me of the movie Ready or Not. If you've seen that movie with Margot Robbie, it had the same vibes, really similar feel, a slightly similar plot line, but without the kind of paranormal-y aspect of that movie. And it had some reviews on the back by a couple of authors that I really like, so I thought that it would be good, and I wasn't wrong. So I'm going to read you the inside flap, and then I'll talk a little bit more about it. A rich, eccentric family, a time-honored tradition, a lethal game of survival. One woman is about to find out if she has what it takes to join her husband's family in this riveting, must-read thriller from the author of Something in the Water, Mr. Nobody, and the Disappearing Act. The rules. Number 1, listen carefully. Number 2, do your research. Number 3, trust no one. Number 4, run for your life. Harriet Reed, a novelist on the brink of literary stardom, is newly engaged to Edward Holbeck, the heir of a powerful family. And though Edward has long tried to sever ties with them, news of the couple's imminent marital bliss has the Holbecks inching back into their lives. As Harriet is drawn into their lavish world, the family seems perfectly welcoming. So when Edward's father, Robert, hands Harriet a tape of a book he's been working on, she is eager to listen. But as she presses play, it's clear that this isn't just a novel, it's a confession. A confession to a grisly crime, a murder, and suddenly the game is in motion. Feeling isolated and confused, Harriet must work out if this is part of a plan to test her loyalty, or something far darker. What is it that Robert sees in her? Why give her the power to destroy everything? This might be a game to the Holbeck family, but for Harriet, losing might prove deadly. So I would say that summary is a little bit different than the vibe that I got from the book as a whole. Very early on, you learn that something happened in Harriet's past that traumatized her. Now, her parents did die in a car accident, but it's very clear that there's something else associated with what happened that day when they died in the car accident, and Harriet was in the car with them, that she is repressing and not talking about. And you do eventually learn what that is as the book moves forward, but that's not mentioned at all here. And so she kind of has her own secret that is leveled against her as she learns more about her fiance's family through this tape that his father gave to her. So there's a little bit more on the line for her because they have information about her. And it's very interesting the way that the suspense is built because you're constantly questioning at first whether the family is kind of weird and crazy or just such old money that they don't really know like how to handle being normal people. And then she does receive this tape from her future father-in-law that he tells her is a book that he's working on, and he wants her to read it or to listen to it because she's an author. And she does, and it's pretty intense. And then at some point in the tape, he starts talking directly to her using her name. And so at that point, she knows that it's not a book and she is being drawn into something, and she's just not sure what, because it is a confession of murder. And she just can't figure out why she's being told this information. And the family does a lot of other weird things that she kind of chalks up to them being rich. But you spend a lot of the book wondering what's suspicious and what's not from the rest of the family, and also how to interpret her future father-in-law's actions. So it was a true page turner, and like I said, it really did remind me of that movie Ready or Not because of the same vibe of this kind of poorer, not poorer, but like not super wealthy girl getting wrapped up in the weird games of a very, very rich, eccentric family. So if you liked that movie, I would definitely suggest checking out this book. Vice versa, if you've read this book and you like it, I would suggest checking out that movie, although like I said, there is sort of supernatural element to the movie that's not present in the book, which is probably another reason why I liked this book, because I've noticed in a lot of the mystery thrillers that I've been reading lately, there ends up being some weird paranormal element that's thrown in at the last second. So spoiler alert if you don't want to hear about a Riley Sager book, The House Across the Lake, turn this video off now. But if you're okay with hearing about it, that book I really enjoyed. Again, The House Across the Lake by Riley Sager is an author that I really enjoy. But at the last second, there was suddenly this weird paranormal possession element to the storyline that I really thought was totally unnecessary. And it kind of took me out of it a little bit. And so as a direct comparison between that book, which I was really loving until it kind of got to that point, and this book never went into that aspect, which I think is why I ended up enjoying it so much. Because while I enjoy paranormal books, I kind of want them to be in their own thing. I don't like it when something's marketed as just a kind of realistic thriller and then has a paranormal element. So that's a long tangent into my personal preferences about mystery thrillers. But if you're looking for something like that with no paranormal element, I would again suggest checking out The Family Game by Catherine Steadman. Excellent read, very intriguing page turner. I'd give it 5 stars. Thank you so much for joining me this evening, and I will see you next time. Bye-bye, everyone.